So as a movie connoisseur, as someone who's obsessed with movies and film and writing scripts and story, we got to talk about this because this is just a really big thing. And I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. I know there's tons of people out there that feel this way. So we're going to go over this video as well as another video. I'm going to give my commentary on each of these videos or takes.
One of the worst things about movies today, especially straight to streaming movies, is how poorly they're shot for no reason whatsoever. I think one of the most universally agreed things amongst movie watchers is that cameras never needed to look any sharper or smoother than they did in the 90s. And from that point on, the higher the definition of the footage, the worse the movie looks.
I want to pause it right there. I think, so yes, if you look at movies from back then versus now, in my personal opinion, and you can speak your mind on this as well, it seems to me that movies back then had more character to them, more depth, right? They took more time to make, yes, but they looked so much better. Nowadays, they do all pretty much look the same. And I think it might have started in '99. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Fight Club was the first movie to be filmed like digitally or something. Like what he's talking about, I think Fight Club was the first one to start this off. And since then, that's what it's been. Prior to that, there was, and Fight Club is great, by the way. I don't think anyone argues or is talking about how bad Fight Club looks or how bad it is, because it's none of those. It's great down to the images and the story and the messaging and everything about Fight Club is great. But I do think that beyond that, filmmakers probably took that to the extreme. And so now we're getting movies that just solely look the same completely and they have no life.
When things get too sharp and too smooth, it looks so real that I can tell I'm looking at a movie set. And the texture of everyone's skin becomes straight up distracting. I really need to know why they keep thinking that we want movies to look like we're watching Planet Earth. And it's the lighting too. Shane Black is a competent filmmaker. Look at how he shot Daytime in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is also a film noir crime mystery. See how it looks like the sun's out, but it's hidden behind a bunch of clouds so it still feels shadowy? Then look at this. The room is flooded with light. I feel like I'm watching a Lifetime movie.
Like I said, no character. I have this clip of Quentin Tarantino spazzing out, rightfully so, right? As a film nerd, he doesn't like the movies that are coming out these days. There's some good films here and there, right? We have some hits, but in most cases, they're all no's. I'm honestly, as someone who loves movie, it actually breaks my heart because I'm like, are we ever gonna get to it? Like, you would never see a movie like Magnolia or even Fight Club out in theaters today. A movie like that would never be made today. That breaks my heart because these movies are extremely cool and original. You can tell there are artists behind these films. They pay attention to detail and actually want to make original and great stories. I'm not seeing that often today. Listen, I haven't went to, when's the last time I went to the movie theaters? You know what, let me just show you this clip and then I'm going to talk about that.
Quentin Tarantino said this at Sundance.
Well, what the f is a movie now? Okay, what the f is a movie? Know what? Something that plays in theaters for a token release for 4 weeks, all right? And by the second week, you can watch it on television. It was bad enough in 2019, and that was the last year of movies, all right? And that was a deal as far as I was concerned. The fact that it's gotten drastically worse. It's a show pony exercise now, the theatrical release.
It is a jaded take, but is he wrong? No. I did see somebody reply to this saying that watching a film at home gives the viewer more agency. The viewer
I think this is true because, well, I mean, and I'm going to show the rest of this clip, but she's also going to bring up the point of like people who are disabled. It's just more convenient to, if you are someone who's disabled, to move around in your home rather than being in a theater. Beyond that, though, it's the fact that, I mean, right after the movie is in theaters, it's on your streaming network. So really, like back in the day, right? Some years back, if a movie came out in theaters and then it was out of theaters, that thing didn't come out for DVD for how long? It was a long time. Nowadays, it's like, what, 2 months? Maybe even less than that, I think, after it's no longer in theaters. Some of them are in theaters and on your streaming network. what's the incentive to go to the movies anymore? You don't really have much of a push to go to the movies, so you don't have to spend extra money. I don't even know what the prices are for going to the movies, but I know it's not anywhere between $10 or $12. Maybe I'm dated. The last movie I went to see, which was, I'm so fortunate when I go to the movies, I usually don't even pay. Like, my friend usually pays for me because he's like a superhero nerd guy, and so whenever we go, he usually pays. But what was the last movie I went to see? Was it Dune? And that was amazing, by the way. I don't even remember the price because I wanted to see it so bad. But point being, I'm a film nerd and I'm not in the movies often, which is saying something.
It's to pick the lighting of the room, who's in the room with them, whether it has closed captions, when to take bathroom breaks. And I think there's something to be said for that, particularly when it comes to accommodating for a disability, say. But here, Tarantino seems to be coming from the place of the filmmaker, not the audience.
Yeah, they pay a lot of money to get in that seat, but there's no taping it. There's no cell phones. Hello, everybody with a cell phone. You own the audience for that time, for that moment. They are all yours. They are in the palm of your hand.
And yeah, it is true that in a movie theater, the filmmaker has more control of the audience's experience of their work. At least to the extent that the audience members aren't like folding laundry while they watch the movie, and in ideal circumstances, they're not scrolling on their phone or talking with their friends. Of course, those things have been known to happen in movie theaters, but as far as I'm concerned, I've had many conversations with people in which they tell me they haven't been to the movie theater in years. And there are a lot of reasons for that. One being that the time between a movie being released in theaters and available at home is so much shorter than...
Exactly. Like, why do again, we can just wait. And actually, that's a normal conversation these days when I talk to my friends about, and a lot of them love movies too. It comes to, I'll just wait till it comes out. I'll wait till it can be streamed. So again, you don't have really any incentive or any drive to go to the movies. The only time you would go to the movies, again, is if it's like a movie you really want to see. Like, I really wanted to see Dune. Dune's amazing. But we're not getting many of those these days. The superhero trend it still gets views, but it's not like how it used to be. That's faded out. So they're running out of trends, to be honest. I think that right now movies are in a sort of gray area. As a whole, I was talking to a friend that I hadn't seen in years last night, and we were talking about horror movies because we're horror fanatics. And I don't think there's a lot of great horror films. She thought otherwise. I was like, yeah, you'll have a few, like Hereditary, Nosferatu was great, Midsummer. What's the phone one with Ethan Hawkins? I think the Black Phone 2 is coming out. I was like, yeah, you're naming a few ones that are like there, but I wouldn't say that. Most horror films are trash. Let's just be honest. There's a lot of bad ones. Not to get too far off guard, but the conversation of people saying, yeah, I'll just wait till that is on a streaming platform is extremely normal today, and no one's going to the movies. And they're not really missing out on anything. Again, the only time they're going to the movies is if it's a big movie or just some movie that has a really large appeal that maybe somebody's wanted to see for a long time. But we're not getting really good movies these days, so.
It has been in the past. So you don't have to wait that long after a film's theatrical release to watch it at home. But for me, a watcher of movies, the difference between watching a film in the theater and watching it at home is like the difference between going to a concert and listening to a CD. Because the theatrical experience offers a bunch of things you can't get at home, obviously. The screen is massive, the sound is massive. You are ideally in a distraction-free environment. And by deliberately carving out time for this experience, you turned it into an event instead of a random choice you make on a Netflix home screen. But even above all that, I strongly feel that the context that you watch a movie in matters a lot to your experience of it. Like, part of...
I agree, because again, like, when you go to, and I mean, you can do this at your home to have your friends over, have some food, and you guys can group up together, popcorn and watch a really cool movie. Or you guys can all go out and see the movie in a movie theater for like the grand experience. I think both are fine. It really depends on how you feel in that moment. Personally, I'm at a point where, so I like both, but see, again, it would have to be a very specific mood for me to go to the movies, because I'm like, yo, we could just chill at my house or your house, have some beers, and we could be active, be annoying during the middle of the movie, because we're at our house. We don't have to restrict ourselves, so to speak, and we can just like pause the movie and talk about a certain scene for like 10 minutes and get lost in it. Like, I like doing stuff like that. So you can't really do that in a movie theater. And it's just making more sense to do that at home than going to the movies today. So let me know what you guys think of that. Let me know what you guys think of the Quentin Tarantino take as far as movies today. Let me know what you think of movies today, if they are the best they've ever been, if you're over them, if you think the screenwriters today just, everything is just money driven. Let me know your thoughts and your take, and I'll see you guys next time.